Hello everyone and welcome to the FPL Cougars show. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kieran.
And today we are previewing Gameweek 11. In this show we'll be analysing each upcoming Gameweek fixture, predicting the potential key players, differentials and working out where those clean sheets might come from. We're also going to discuss captaincy, we'll reveal our teams, planned transfers, and then talk about our Cougar Cub picks, as well as Manager of the Week from last week. Also got time to answer a few of your questions tonight. I'm looking forward to picking Kieran's brains on some of those. Shall we go back and just... Kieran, I can tell like you laughing now. We don't really want to recap Game Week 10, do we? Because you and I had stinkers.
I mean, you had much less of a stinker, but...
They were both pretty bad, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we talk about them? Talk about them right now. You can start.
Okay. So, yeah, 32 points. Obviously, dreadful. Game week rank of 6.3 million. There's only 600 bloody K managers in the game. So, that couldn't have got much worse. It was, at least 10 points 17 points below average, which is... Yeah, crazy.
You have a good team as well, don't you? That's why it's so frustrating.
So it was 264k. I thought my season was going well. I thought it was in a good place. Yeah, 600k drop to 816k. Pretty brutal. I'm where I definitely didn't want to be, that's for sure. So I'm going to list my woes this week.
Okay.
There's quite
exciting.
a few.
All right.
Blank plus yellow card, 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
Tierney blank, conceded 2, 1 point. Obviously Lundstrom blanked. Mane, he got assists. But yeah, Hudson-Odoi coming on. I assumed, I assumed the two players who were like rotation risks last week who didn't come on, sort of thing, wouldn't happen again, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought they just wouldn't come on at all, and obviously they did. So Cho came on, got a yellow card for diving, I guess. Yeah, so that's 0 points there.
That's so annoying, isn't it? So annoying.
Yeah. And then obviously Wilson, blank plus yellow card.
Yeah.
Aguero, captain, came on for 10 minutes, blank. Gets 2 points, fantastic. And then obviously Aguero and Hudson-Odoi coming on, blocks Sionku and Rico's 2 clean sheets. I mean, I've played Lundstrom when every week I bench him and he gets a clean sheet, and it's just, there you go. There's the list of absolute crap.
It was just, not good at all. So I had sort of a similar game week, really. So 44 points for me. It was my backline that let me down. Like I thought I had a good game week. Like looking at my players, I'm like, I've got points pretty much everywhere apart from my back line. So between Pope, Trent, Tamori, Lundstrom and Dean, they scored a total of, I think it was 5 points between them all, and Rico sat on my first bench. A Bournemouth defender scored more in an away Premier League game than 5 of my defenders. I mean, how does that happen? So that was shocking. So unlike you, I don't have Aguero, so I plumbed for De Bruyne over Sterling for my captaincy. That was sort of like it could have been better, but yeah, all my Mount, Abraham, Mane returned. I think just, Kieran, it was because we don't own any Leicester players. We just got really badly warped this weekend. Warped? We got really badly wrecked this weekend and warped.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, it felt really bad. I don't know. What's your main takeaway from the game week? Like, it's going to get better from here. Like, I had looked back, right, at how we were doing at this stage last season, because I feel like we're nearly a quarter of the way into the season now. And at game week 10 last season, you were sitting pretty on 10k overall, and I was sitting at 116k, and we were having good seasons. Whereas this season, my ranks have been like, I've not been higher than about 723k, and I've not been lower than about 1.1 million. But it's just turgid, just like stuck in the mud.
I'll tell you what I think it is. It's
tell me.
It's players that you expect to haul or expect to do well, they just aren't consistent. So, Aguero, who was consistent at the start, just now is not being. Trent and all those guys have, he's providing all the stats, but he's not getting the returns at the moment. Mane and Salah and stuff, they're really inconsistent. It's just like the big players like look like they're going to be good, and then they have a couple of blanks, and you're just like, oh, great. And then if you don't own the players that do well that 1 week, then I don't know, you seem to be needing to shift your team around constantly to be able to get anywhere, and it's just just the players that we're expecting just aren't doing. It's so frustrating.
I feel like I'm missing with captaincy as well, like in a big way, and I'm not even captaining bad picks. Like I think I've had 2 blanks from Abraham in home games, and then I've had blanks from Mane, I've had blanks from Sterling quite a lot. I should have just had it on KDB more often, but yeah, it's been wretched, really wretched.
Yeah, I think I've hit 4 out of 10 so far. Captains.
I might have even had less than that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. Before we get into our Manager of the Week and the Cougar Cup results and our sort of game week preview, I just want to say if you haven't already subscribed to us, then please do that right now. We're previewing every game week through tiers. So yeah, if you want to join us for that, just hit subscribe on any platform you're watching or listening to us on right now. Right, let's talk about the good managers, Kieran. 116 points. Who was this?
No, 116k.
Oh, 116K.
91 points.
91 points. I'm looking at the wrong. Okay, 91 points. Who was this?
Did I get that wrong on the overlays? I don't think
you didn't.
I did.
That's perfect.
Anyway,
It's me.
So yeah, 91 points. It was Top Gun, the team by Christopher Wilson.
Oh, Wilson, I love him.
There might have been higher scorers, but for some reason, it doesn't let me load all the league for some reason.
Okay.
So sorry if you scored more and I haven't picked you out. But anyway, yeah, game week rank of 29k,
Woo!
which compared to my 6.3 million is something else.
Yeah.
And then overall rank is 116k, up from 752k. So there's hope for us.
Yeah.
And we just need to have a good game week somewhere. And he's 174th in the Cub League, which was up quite a lot as well. Obviously.
Nice.
He had Lascelles with 10 points with his bullet header, 1 per season sort of thing. Sionku, he actually played him. Salah, KDB, Mount with returns. He captained Sterling, obviously. There was that slight risk of him maybe being rotated. So
yeah.
But yeah, he went there anyway. Madison, and then he obviously had Vardy as well, and Tammy. So he basically had everyone return well, other than Tomori and Pope in his team. So yeah, great week and a big rank boost. Basically.
Yeah, it's that triple Leicester for him as well. Like this week, obviously people who had Leicester assets are just getting a huge boost overall. But so yeah, hit 3 of them there in Soyuncu, Madison, and Vardy. Very well done.
Yeah, to be honest, they weren't the big ones either, really.
No.
Other than Vardy, obviously.
Yeah. That was really good. What about the Cougar Cup picks? Danny Ings, jeez. In hindsight, it looks like a terrible decision, but he was in form. He was like a good pick.
Yeah, so Ings got 1 point. I think he got taken off at halftime or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually picked well. The only thing good in my week, I think. I went for Rashford. My backup as well was Willian, who got a goal and assist.
Nice.
But Rashford got a goal and assist. Norwich away, 9 points. So yeah, overall, I'll go October first. So I've got 16 and you're 14. So I've actually won October from Rashford there.
Clutched it.
But total is 23 to 26. I'm on 23, you're on 26. So I've with that haul from Rashford, caught up massively.
Oh, nice.
That's all it takes, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's quite good. So I got September. I can't remember who won August. Do you remember that?
I think you've won all of them.
Okay,
so far.
so you're clawing it back. It's 2-1.
September. Yeah.
Oh man, you hit me at the post. I could have had a 3-peat. Oh god, that's gonna be difficult to do.
Either way, I would have beaten you because I picked Willian as well. So I think he got 9 as well. So
all right,
probably more actually, probably like 11.
Yeah, you probably would have done. All right, well, should we talk about the fixtures coming up now? You haven't even seen my team this week because I've already done my transfers. You don't even know this. Okay. So I'm going to have to read it out because you haven't even got it to hand. So transfers already made. Guys, I'm joining like the 375,000 other players. Vardy's in already for that man Pookie. I'm not going to mention the P word that ends in Y because everyone just talks about that and I can't get on board with jokes like that.
Straight funds?
Well, I had so much money in the bank. Yeah, because I got rid of Dean and I'd also got rid of someone else last week who I've forgotten already.
Zinchenko?
Yep, Zinchenko and Dean, that's right. So downgraded the defence in a big way, and I've actually doubled up on Sheffield United in defence. Decided to go with O'Connell back there. So I'm still a little bit unsure what my team's going to look like after this game week, because I've still got over, I think it's like 1.3, 1.4 in the bank now. So I've still got Cantwell, Rico, O'Connell as sort of like a 3 rotating pair at the moment, but I'm not really that confident in any. So got my on Cancelo, but we'll get onto him a little bit later. So, I mean, I've put your team up on the screen. You haven't made any transfers this week yet, have you? You haven't raged Aguero out yet?
Not yet. Are we talking about full transfers now?
Yeah, well, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. So my thoughts are probably to get on Vardy. But I'm not thinking Aguero out. I think I'm going to keep him. I think I'm going to captain him again.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Double dip.
So yeah, I think it's Wilson out, who I imagine will probably score massively now that I take him out. But yeah, Wilson probably out for Vardy, and it's either the downgradable players in my team this week are Hudson-Odoi or Tierney, right?
They're not worth a lot anyway. It's
either Hudson-Odoi down, who's obviously started tonight in the cup, down to someone like a 4.4, go 4-3-3 for a week or so, or do Tierney down to a 4.4 defender, which is someone like Target, Lascelles, someone in that sort of 4.4 area. And I'll play 3-4-3 still. To be honest, I think I like the 4-3-3 for this week. And then I think I'm going to look at taking Aguero out next week, getting Sterling or Salah in, or maybe just like, obviously they play each other.
Yeah, they do.
Just get one of them in anyway. For Aguero down to like Connolly, I'll still have Vardy and Abraham up top. Just take a hit just because it's probably worth it at that point to get Sterling / Salah in for their good runs, and I still have that City / Liverpool coverage.
Yeah, no,
I get Vardy and
There's a lot. I tell you what, because of those 3 goals, and him going top of the overall point score, if you like, and the fact that he's played 19 every game week, he's on penalties. I don't know why it hasn't happened before, but Vardy is just like now seems like he's up for me in that essential bracket, and obviously so many other people, and it's just like going to be a mad scramble this week ahead of his blank against Palace this weekend. But
yeah, he probably will blank, but at the same time, I think
it's good to have
Leicester. I'd rather own him than not, and Leicester look so confident at the moment. Their stats against Crystal Palace are really bad, but Leicester look so good that they can obviously turn that around.
It's interesting that you mentioned it, and I was going to bring it up when we talked about City and Liverpool later. Obviously, they play each other next week, and you and I'm sure thousands of other managers have maybe 4 to 6 City and Liverpool players total in their teams. I'm expecting like a really low average next week, and I feel like next week could be. Maybe not a free hit week, but do you know what I mean? I feel like if you're going to take a chance on a game week soon, next week could be the one to target some good fixtures. And while like a lot of people's teams are probably I'd say it's going to be a low scoring draw. I think it was last season at Anfield. It might have even been a 0-0, but I think there's opportunity there.
I'm tempted by someone like Martial / Rashford. Just because I don't think Sterling in next week is necessarily essential. And I think I probably don't want Sterling over the next 4 or 5 anyway. I think obviously Liverpool's fixtures are better, and I kind of fancy that Mane Salah double for a while. There's thoughts of what I'm going to do next week, and maybe bringing in a Martial, someone like that, or a Rashford instead. And just go with the punches.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about that. I mean, I know it seems like it's only next game week, but even to sort of look at it now and start talking about what our moves are going to be like, because I think it is going to be a lower scoring week next week. I mean, the fact that we're loaded with so many premium assets, they're not all going to score. So yeah, it's worth considering.
Should talk about that next week.
Yeah, we will. Yeah. Right, let's talk about this week then. Bournemouth against United is the first one. You've obviously ready to say. Sounds like you're ready to say goodbye to Wilson. He's been poor, hasn't he? In 2 games against Norwich and Watford, you'd expect the man who hadn't stopped returning this season to continue, but he's been poor, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously got him on the wild card, got him back for the 2 probably best fixtures on the calendar, and he was performing well, and he's gone and done absolutely nothing. I got him instead of Vardy. And, that's just the way this season seems to be at the moment, that I'm just picking the wrong guys at the wrong time when stats seem to be backing them. And, so game week 8 to 10 in those 2 weeks, he had an XG of 0.48, 3 shots, 1 big chance, 3 key passes, 2 big chances created, and no goals, no assists. And, so it's just not good enough. I don't think he had any shots in the last game versus, was it Watford last week? Yeah, so it's just it's not what my season needs, and I probably just need to get on my other FPL nemesis of Vardy instead, and just leave Vardy for the season because Leicester look good, and he's just going to keep scoring, isn't he? His stats for the year and under Rodgers are crazy.
Yeah.
And so yeah, get rid of Wilson.
I think it's the right time to jump off them as well. I mean, looking at their next 5 fixtures, they're actually reasonably tough, aren't they? I mean, United, they play United, Newcastle, Wolves, Tottenham, Crystal Palace. I mean, the game, and Liverpool. So you're looking at 2-3 good defensive sides statistically there in United, Palace, and Liverpool. And Newcastle are always going to be tricky at St James's. So I can't really see many of those games. Maybe the Wolves game.
I think you'll probably get something this week, like annoyingly.
Okay, all right.
But after that, I think obviously Newcastle can defend at home. We've seen Wolves is tough. Spurs, Crystal Palace, Liverpool. I can't see. I see him blanking in all of those. Yeah. So, it probably is the time to get off. But at the same time, he'll probably just return in everyone, and that's just what he does.
Yeah, yeah. It's a funny time. I mean, looking at the stats, that Bournemouth haven't actually scored in their last 3. Which is a surprise for an Eddie Howe team, really, because we sort of associate them with being quite attacking. So I wonder if he's going to change it around for United this weekend. I mean, they come into this game, again, sort of boasting good expected goals conceded stats, and that they're right near the top of the league for that. I think that's maybe the 6th best overall in the last 4, which, considering they played Liverpool, it's quite an achievement in that time. They look like back to their attacking best with Martial and Rashford. I mean, it's quite easy for a team to look at back to their best when they're playing such a porous Norwich side. But Martial, he's averaged 0.6 points per 90 minutes in the 5 appearances he's had this season, which is a crazy high number. He's risen in price now as well, isn't he? 7.6 now.
We don't even need to get in that rabbit hole of what's going on there. Yeah.
And I thought I love this stat from the weekend. So Martial had an XG of 2.34, and only Leicester, Man City and United themselves were teams that had a higher XG than he did. So he looked really threatening against Norwich. He's obviously been talking to Man United TV this week, so I'm in the team to score goals. And if he's going to be playing number 9, I think there's going to be more goals coming for him there.
Yeah.
Do you like the look of Rashford fitting your team, or is he not really sort of fitting your structure at the moment? That's the problem I've got with him. I feel like I'm really settled on De Bruyne, Sterling, Mane and Mount, whereas I'd be loath to lose any of them really to fund Martial.
Yeah, I mean, he could come in for Aguero next week, assuming I don't go the Sterling way for those few fixtures or something.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not sure I can fit Rashford in to get the money for Salah still. So
yeah.
At the moment, it just seems like I'm not going to be able to get them in just because it doesn't fit. But at the same time, maybe I'm going too templatey.
Yeah.
At 800k, I need a Martial or Rashford who are low owned. So, yeah, but then again, Mane Salah double up for their good fixtures is a differential in itself, which should, if they do well, be rewarding in itself. So,
no, I agree. Obviously, you're never going to pick Rashford in your FPL team because of your dislike for him, but he's looking good. So goals.
Well, you said that. I got on him early last season. And he did really well for me when he was when United and Rashford were on that run of really good fixtures, and they did really well with Pogba as well. And this is the same sort of fixtures that are happening now for them.
So would you get him this season instead of Vardy?
So, I mean, yeah, possibly. Well, not instead of Vardy, no. I haven't really thought about that, but
they got fixtures. He's a bit more inexpensive. He's on penalties, despite the fact he loves missing them.
I mean, would you?
No, I don't think so. 5 goals and 3 assists for the season. It seems like he plays better when Martial's in the team, which is great. But if Martial can't stay fit and it's back on Rashford again to play centre forward, that's when he really suffers. I thought it was interesting that Martial and Rashford, I saw the stat that they were the first pair of teammates to ever score a goal and miss a penalty each in a single game in the Premier League, which I thought was, it's great. But I wonder if he's off pens now.
Yeah, probably. I mean, how many pens have United missed this season? It's probably like 4, maybe 5 pens.
It feels like a lot. Yeah, definitely at least 3. Yeah.
So imagine if those 2 had converted them, or Rashford converted the first one, they got the second, and he would have had a hat trick possibly with 2 penalties. And then a lot of people would be like, "Wow, we have to get Rashford in." And he's not going to miss every one, but he is a poor penalty taker. So I don't know. I guess who is going to take the next
No,
one?
I reckon
Rashford.
they'll stick with Rashford or Martial to take him, and just go on from there. Is there any more players from any of those teams you want to mention before we move on?
Obviously, Rico still looks great as a 4.2. He was taking direct free kicks as well. Had a good chance to score. He's third for all defenders for key passes in the last 4 weeks. He's also taken 17 corners, one more than Trent. So yeah, he's a cut price Trent / Digne, and if you don't own him, why? Basically, he's great for sort of rotation of for good fixtures. So yeah, I like it. All right, Arsenal against Wolves. I'm really looking forward to this game. We had a question in from I think he's pronounced his name Malte. He said, "Is Aubameyang still good? 4 blanks ever?" Well, the first time he's blanked 4 times in a row, basically for Arsenal. What do you think about him? Obviously, he was doing really well up until 4 game weeks ago, and now he's just gone off the boil a little bit. I've got Abba Blank down here instead of Aubameyang. So yeah, he's meant to be a flat track bully, right? And obviously he's started blanking in the games where he should be hauling, which just makes no sense. And yeah, I don't know. With Lacazette back, his chances are probably going to get less again. So I don't feel confident in him. Obviously, a reason why I didn't go for him on the wild card as well, because I just don't fully trust him. And I think people are definitely starting to be worried by him. I mean, he's had 11th for total shots behind even Wilson in the last 4 weeks.
Wow.
So Wilson has been shocking. He's an
That's
XG
bad,
of 1.
Yeah.
1 over 4 weeks.
1?
It's like, yeah. So compared to Vardy and Jesus as well, who's obviously not started all the games, is on around an XG of like 3.0. That's worrying for sure. I mean, I'd be definitely tempted to sell if you don't have someone like Sterling or KDB or something like that. Then yeah, he seems like he should be going. Or maybe you go down to Rashford. If you've probably got Vardy already, Rashford in for Aubameyang and use the funds elsewhere seems quite good.
Yeah, I mean, last season I think Wolves drew and beat Arsenal, and sort of coming off the back of what's been going on with Xhaka and sort of like the bit of squad unrest, fan unrest, Emery sort of looks, I don't know, maybe on a bit of a tightrope when it comes to how much longer he's going to be in the job. Do you see that Wolves could pull off a victory here at the Emirates? Do you think Jimenez might be a sort of game for him playing on the counter-attack like the Etihad?
I mean, they certainly could, but I don't know. I've got a gut feeling that Arsenal are going to win this to a clean sheet. The last Wolves game, like even with people rested and all the basically first team, who did they play? Was it Southampton?
Yeah, at home they played.
Yeah,
and then they played Newcastle.
Newcastle. Yeah, they just didn't do anything, did they? And it's just. I think they're back to their sort of possible blanking ways of not looking great, and I don't know. I'm going to play Tierney. He's rested tonight. I think I want to keep Tierney out of Cho because Cho is sort of a luxury to have with the triple Chelsea, so I think I want to keep Tierney over him. I just got a feeling that obviously my feelings have been terrible this year, but the feeling is that Arsenal will win 2-0 here.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm not going to be. I was going to say I'm not going to be invested in Jimenez then. I mean, I was really close to bringing him in last week, and they have got some good fixtures after Arsenal. They got 3 of their next 4 at home against Villa, Sheffield United, West Ham, and their away game sort of sandwiched in between that lot is away against Bournemouth. So, I mean, they're fairly decent teams, but I think there's Europa. I mean, we've been saying it all season, haven't we? How Europa sort of affects them. Sometimes they can put in great performances, and sometimes they can roll out ones like they did against Newcastle. I think Bolly's going to be a huge miss for them at the back. He is a monster, and not having him around is really going to sort of disrupt their back line. And I think that has a huge impact throughout the squad. If you're not feeling confident at the back, then you're not going to be feeling as confident springing forward. Did you notice Doherty played right centre-back against Newcastle for a bit?
I assume that was only because Seiss is kind of still injured as well, and that Vallejo guy has been terrible since joining. So, I don't think that's going to be permanent. I think Seiss is back to being fit again, so I assume it's him and Bennett with Cody. So, I'm not too worried about Doherty playing there, but yeah.
It seemed like Nuno changed around at halftime. He put Dendoncker back into the back 3, and then Doherty ended up playing wing back, I think. He still had 3 shots in the box, one big chance, and 6 penalty area touches. So, I mean, Doherty was still getting forward late in the second half, and he could have won it, couldn't he, from that Jimenez cross? I think he headed it just wide. So, I mean, they're showing sort of elements of last year, but until they start converting points more regularly, despite the fixes, I'm not really that interested in Wolves at the moment.
I mean, Doherty would be the one I'd be most worried about in this fixture, more so than Jimmy. I think Doherty could, get on the back end of like a Sterling does at the back post for a cross or something like that. I think, that's more likely than a Jimmy goal, possibly.
I can agree with that. Anything else to add on the Arsenal side of things? Anyone who's really caught your eye in the last couple of game weeks?
I mean, I've got Socrates written down here, but I probably shouldn't really talk about him because he got a goal and probably a second one ruled out, but should have been a goal. But he's not going to do that every week. But if you're looking for cheaper, if you can stomach the back line like I have somehow, then at 5 million compared to a Tierney of 5.4, then why not?
Yeah, no, okay, I get that. Actually, before we move on, I just wanted to mention Jimenez's stats because I looked into these quite specifically for my own team, and I feel bad not sharing them. So, obviously, strikers, bread and butter should be goals, but his XG is way down comparatively speaking against the other strikers. So, in the last 4 game weeks, he's had an XG of 1.56, which is less than Ayew at Crystal Palace. And that is not good. But though, as we've sort of seen with Jimenez, he's been creating a lot of chances for his teammates, and he has the highest expected assists of all strikers in the last 4 game weeks with 1.49, but he's only had 1. So it's interesting how that sort of is balancing out, because really at 7-3, I'd want a striker who's going to be returning more from the XG basically than the XA.
So if you have him at 7.3, would you be happy for an assist return every week? Or?
Probably not. No, probably not. I'd much rather my strikers give me some goals, really.
I mean, when Wilson was doing that at the start of the season, I was relatively happy, and he's 8 million. So yeah.
Well, something to think about. I mean, he is top, like you say, top of the assists, but way down when it comes to goals. So if you like assists from your strikers, then Jimenez is for you. Villa against Liverpool, Kieran. Mm-hmm. Go on, who do you want to talk about first?
Well, there's obviously 2 guys are doing well at the moment. So they've got 2 mids in the top 12 scoring midfielders in the game, which is McGinn and Grealish, and they're pretty much identical in sort of points. So those 2 are doing really well. Obviously, Grealish was a nuisance versus City. He's playing really well at the moment. He does like a yellow card, likes to run his mouth, but his talent is obviously there. And he's 7th overall for midfielders in the last 4 weeks for XG. So, McGinn versus Grealish in the last 4 weeks, there's basically nothing to pick between them. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we've said if we're going to pick between them down the line, it's going to be hard, and even the stats show that. So, McGinn versus Grealish. So shots is 15 versus 11. An XG of 1.64 versus 1.62. Mm-hmm. Goals 1 versus 2. Key passes 6 versus 11. Big chances 3
They're
versus
close,
2.
aren't they, these?
Yeah, XA 0.52 versus 0.69, and points 13 versus 23. But McGinn has been unlucky on the points side. His stats are obviously all there and better, but he's not quite got the points or the actual returns. So I don't know, which do you prefer out there 2? I think if it was me, I think at McGinn still, possibly.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting you bring up actually the comparison between the 2, because like I was saying at the top when we're talking about my team structure now, one of the potential options I was looking at was going back to the 5th midfielder and seeing if I can squeeze some value out of these players at around 6 million. So there's players like Yarmolenko there, like Callum Hudson-Odoi. We've got Daniel James, he's 6'1". But the most interesting sort of conundrum really is McGinn against Grealish. McGinn had a price drop as well, so he's actually 0.1 cheaper than Grealish now, considering their starts to the season for 5.9 and 5.8 sort of respectively. They're good value.
5.7 actually.
Is he 5.7? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right. But I
might be wrong, but
yeah, I just think that they both look like really good value. I think their fixture list is really tough. I'd probably back McGinn over Grealish because I'd say he's probably got slightly more of a goal threat despite Grealish's positional move. Grealish has never really been like a goal scorer, and McGinn loves shooting. So, I mean, the more shots he's going to take against worse teams, worse defence, he's going to keep getting more chances. He will end up returning. And it also seems like he does take a fair amount of the set pieces, which I quite like. So even if he's not playing well.
I think McGinn was denied that assist against Ryan. Was it that foul? So that would have been points. I think he's hit the bar and maybe the post as well. So yeah, there's fine margins where he could have been, up there on the points as well, which seems more sustainable than Grealish possibly.
Yeah, and I mean McGinn looked great as well last week away against City. Like he had 2 of their best chances. Edison had a really good save, I think, in the first half, and he hit the post as well, didn't he?
Yep.
So I mean that shows that they're good playing counter-attacking against the top side. So even though their fixtures are a bit meh, they might still get the odd chance which they could score in.
Which makes me think on the counter-attack they'll probably score against Liverpool, which there'll be that one goal and they'll probably score. Yeah,
well I think Liverpool have only kept 2 clean sheets this season, but they have both been on the road, haven't they? Burnley and Sheffield United, I think they were. Villa have kept 2 out of 4 clean sheets this season. I mean, you think it's going to be another Liverpool win here, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. But I'm wondering if that clean sheet gets wiped out. But obviously Trent has looked so good.
Oh, he has, hasn't he?
Especially last week, he had like some crazy amount of passes or crosses into the box, and obviously he got that yellow card and 1 point, which just seems really unfair when his chance creation is just so far ahead of any other defender, and he's just getting 1 point. But there's obviously a haul on the cards for Trent. A la that sort of like massive defense haul of, I can't remember what game it was, where all 3 of the Van Dijk, Trent,
last season
got massive returns. I mean that is on the cards soon, and it could be this game. I think they'll probably give up a lot of chances for Trent again, and obviously he hasn't played today, so he's going to be rested. I fancy a Liverpool win by quite a few, and hopefully they just don't concede.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one in terms of conceding. Matip seems like he's got this knee injury now. He's going to be out for like 5-6 weeks. So that weakens their backline just after get Alisson back. It was interesting what you said about Trent. I've sort of stopped considering him a defender now because I think he's top for chances created of Europe's top 5 leagues this season. I mean, for a person playing right back, and he was pinging the ball around like prime Beckham at the weekend.
Once again, Robertson is getting the more points. Yeah. Obviously they conceded and he only got 1 more point, but he's still getting more points. Yeah.
No, it'd be great if I could afford to have both of them. That was the plan for a little while, to have Trent, Robbo, and Jimenez, but Vardy's just sort of come straight into my thinking. But yeah, no, they're all looking good. Mane, again, he was just incredible. He was such a workhorse in the game. I mean, Liverpool played amazing against Spurs, but yeah, Mane just battling for everything. That's the second time he sort of like won a penalty by getting to a ball he had no right to get to and then just getting fouled. Interesting though, actually, his away form isn't as bad as I thought it was. Like I was looking at captaincies this week and who to put the vice captaincy on, and 35 points from 4 home games this season. That's 8.7 points per game. So that's a pretty decent return for someone who last season we were talking about as a bit of like a home bird. He's actually been putting up some decent numbers away from home this season. So
I think he's a tempting captain, Mane this week.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I think it could be a good win for Liverpool here, and he's going to be a differential captain. So
yeah, no, I like it. Yeah, I think both Mane and Salah, they could be really good options. Obviously, Salah came back with his goal from the penalty spot, but then he has this sort of like ankle knock. That's going to be really interesting to see how they manage and monitor that. Do you think he's going to sort of see reduced minutes, at least for a few game weeks until he gets over it properly?
It's possible. He's obviously been rested tonight, so he hasn't had like a full week off for quite a while. Yeah. So, actually, no, I suppose he did when he was injured, but before that, he hasn't had because he's been playing most sort of midweek games with Champions League and stuff. I imagine it might continue, but I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I mean, this is gonna. Sorry to talk about your doctor, Kieran. You are a doctor. Don't put yourself down.
Sure.
Talking about Liverpool. I've been out most of the evening before recording this show, so I had no idea what the League Cup scores were, and I've just checked them now to see if I could give any interesting Liverpool insights.
I've just looked.
5-4 to Arsenal. What the hell's going on? I know they've got like a bit of a swap team around, but 9 goals. Kieran, we're missing a thriller.
Yeah, Liverpool's team was just completely no first team, pretty much.
All right.
Apart from maybe Milner sometimes. But yeah, that Martinelli guy for Arsenal, he's a striker. I think he deserves a chance in the Prem.
Yeah,
he's got a brace already there, and he might have even got that fifth one. No, he didn't. But yeah, I'd love to see him start playing some games for Arsenal.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, he does look good. Is there anyone else you want to talk about? I'm just trying to see who I've written down here. I want to just sort of say he's good. But no.
No, not for me, but you can.
No, I don't think so. I just mentioned maybe that Firmino's had the most shots from inside the box this Premier League season with 10. And that was quite a nice little stat there for Firmino owners who are still perhaps clinging on to some hope.
I mean, he looks so good for ages and does streaky returns, and then he goes missing again and just doesn't return for ages. So need to get on him when he starts streaking again.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's power through these because we were going to try and do a short, but we're getting so excited about fantasy, aren't we?
Yeah, sorry.
It's all right. We're just doing a bit of chit chat. Let's Brighton against Norwich. Are you excited? In a word?
No, it's probably going to be a crap game, isn't it?
Okay.
But
tell me about someone who inspire me, Kieran. With someone.
Obviously, for Brighton, this looks good. It's obviously Ryan, who is an absolute hero for me at the moment. Like pretty much my top scorer last week, or nearly. 4 points, 3-2 defeat, got 5 saves, 2 bonus. I mean, I think it's just because of his passing bonus, because they seem to play out the back, Potter-esque, sort of Barcelona style, Brighton loner. So yeah, he's been great for me, and again, 4 points in a 3-2 defeat is huge. And yeah, this week hopefully a clean sheet, and hopefully some saves and some bonus. A 10-point haul from him would not go amiss. And yeah, obviously the fixtures afterwards is Man United away, Leicester at home, Liverpool away, Arsenal away, Wolves at home. So they're bad.
Yeah, but they're good.
But yeah, for him with plenty passing and plenty saves, he should do well.
Yeah. Do you want to talk? Have you got anything on Trossard? Because he was like a little darling for me at the start of the season. I was like, "Ooh, who are you? You're new," and he sort of fits in that bracket. I was just talking about the 6 million price players. Trossard, I think, is he 5'8" or something like that? I think
he's probably dropped a few times.
He looks good.
He looks good. He passed the eye test when he came on. He had 1 key pass, 1 assist. The guy seems to score points. So. Yeah, I don't think he starts this game because I think he's still probably going to be coming back from injury still. Yeah. So with Gross looking good, he pretty much took his place, and Gross has looked decent. So I think he needs to come on again. Then he'll probably start the game afterwards. So yeah, but he does look good, and I'm interested to get back on him when the fixtures clear up.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear from any Brighton fans who are watching this video now and talk how they might line up. Basically when Trossard's back, because obviously Connolly's coming to the side, Gross is coming back into a bit of form, and obviously Maupay doesn't seem to be going anywhere. So I'd be interested to see how they fit them all in. So if anyone's got any insight to that, I'd appreciate that, because Trossard is a player I like when their fixtures clear up. I think he could be a good pick. On the Norwich side of things, I probably just want to talk about how awful they are. They've conceded at least 2 in 7 of their last 8 now, and they've failed to score in their last 4 away games. So I mean, they're just basically pooper at both ends of the pitch now, and I wasn't sad to say goodbye to Pukki. I think I'd 5 blanks in a row, maybe. I think it was after the City game I held him for. So yeah, I'm pleased that I had enough funds sort of in the bank from downgrading my heavy defence to get rid of him for Vardy. But he's had 171,000 transfers out again this game week. I just wanted to look at the stats between sort of like 6 and 10 when he's blanked and 1 and 5. So it's a bit of a noticeable drop off really. So in the 6 to 10, he's had an XG of 1.4, and he's had 8 points overall, no goals. In game weeks 1 to 5, he had an XG of 3.43 and points 49. So I mean, he's 41 points down in the same sort of period of games, and
6 goals as well.
And the XG's like more than halved. So the fact he was overperforming his XG that much already, and now he's underperforming it by this much, it's just huge just alarm bells going off saying needed to get rid of this guy. Cantwell as well. It seems like people are just getting fed up with him. If you've got him, a bit like me, be mindful of him dropping in price, because I don't really want to lose too much value on a player who sits on my bench. So if you've got a spare transfer this week you're not planning to make, and you're just benching Cantwell every week, he might drop in price and you might not make any money on him. No,
I'd love to be able to upgrade him to Martial.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
It's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. He's had no return since game week 5. Do you see any options if people are looking to take him out like me? Do you think it's I don't know, a benchable option like a 4.4, 4.5, or is there anyone around that 5 mil bracket?
Yeah, I'd probably downgrade to a 4.4. I think Nakamba at Villa seems to be nailed on. He's just like a Stevens-esque, will play 90 minutes, not do much. But he's 4.4 and enabler. But yeah, the only other thing you could do is possibly upgrade to get, Hudson-Odoi, McGinn. And if you've got enough to get up to Martial, then great. But yeah, I think it's probably downgrade.
Yeah, and he went off after 45 minutes at home. So I'm looking at Nakambia, who you mentioned just there. He's going to be my stand-in when I get around to getting rid of Cantwell's 1 week. Should we move on, or do you want to mention anyone else? Or
no, let's go for it.
Okay, we've got the exciting one, Man City Saints. So the second time they're going to meet this week, and they've already beaten them 3-1. They lost the clean sheet, didn't they, last night in the League Cup?
Yeah, they did.
We had a question in from Alistair Tomlinson. It was really about the City defence, and he said, Otamendi for who? Basically, question mark. I mean, basically, Kieran, discuss that. Who do you see, if anyone, as a potential replacement in that City backline?
City backline wise, obviously Mendy. He seems to be nailed on the moment. Angelino tore his hammy last night. Zinchenko's injured, so there's no one really in that spot apart from Mendy. And obviously Cancelo seems to probably rotate with Walker on the right side. So I think Mendy is definitely nailed on. Obviously Cancelo didn't start last night either. Walker playing in the Carabao Cup means Cancelo possibly nailed. He's played 3 times 90 in a row in the Prem. Cancelo at 5.3. That's cheap for a City defender. Obviously Zinchenko is 5.5 and he offers basically nothing. And other than clean sheet, and Cancelo, his attacking stats are good, like really good. So yeah, if Cancelo's nailed, then yeah, great. But you can't see too many clean sheets going forward for them. Obviously they can get clean sheets anywhere, but you're probably not expecting it with Liverpool, Chelsea, even Newcastle and Burnley are going to be tough games, but maybe clean sheets, obviously. But yeah, Liverpool, Chelsea in the next 2 after Southampton is not looking good for clean sheets.
They've actually got a good record at Etihad for clean sheets. I think they've got 6 in the last 8, which is pretty decent considering the problems they've had. So, sure. That stretches back to last season a little bit, but that's pretty good numbers there.
But yeah, I don't mind Cancelo if you can stomach him being benched occasionally. I don't know. Walker is fit. Walker is obviously historically first choice, so I don't know.
I got no love for Walker in that spot. I think he's a bit of a. It seems like he's out of favour now they've got Cancelo. Yeah,
possibly. It just takes a while to bed players in, and maybe Cancelo is first choice now.
This is a nailed on City win, isn't it? We were talking about City thrashing Norwich earlier in the season. That didn't materialise, but I think they could really put a number on Southampton this weekend. It was 6-1, I think, last season, so they didn't keep the clean sheet at home against them. I think Sterling got 2, Aguero, Silva and Sane got the others, as well as an own goal, and City have scored at least 2 goals in 10 of their last 11, so it's lined up to be a pumping. Is it fair to say it's a pumping, Kieran?
The last time we thought that, then it didn't happen, but sure. But this time. I hope so. I'm hoping Aguero, I got written down if he starts midweek, he's gone, but Jesus started as well. They both pretty much played 90 minutes. I think Aguero is going to start. I'm pretty sure he does. I think he plays this game, rests in the Champions League because it's not a big one now. Yeah. Because they're pretty much already through, and then Aguero will play Liverpool next week because he is the main man. Yeah. He's the big guy for the big games, and he likes to do well against top 6 sides. So I think Aguero plays, and I had thought that last week as well, but he might be my captain still. I was burned last week, but I think this is finally the time for him to reward me, and he's going to go on a haul.
Pep did say after the game, I think last night, about managing players that are over 30 and how they don't run as less, but they've got to run more intelligently. Basically, that was the crux of what his point was.
That second goal was a run intelligently. Yeah. The first one was him being in the right place. He's doing exactly what Pep wants him to.
Yeah. So I suppose for players like me and lots of others who don't have Aguero, what sort of do you think is the difference now between Sterling and De Bruyne? Because I've been sort of flip-flapping between those two as captaincy all week.
You have to captain Sterling.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I've landed on him now.
Yeah. Obviously, if I didn't have Aguero, I would have Sterling, and it would be 100% nailed on Sterling. Obviously, didn't play during midweek and rested, on fire at the moment. Yeah, he's obviously the go-to. I just fancy Aguero as well. So
yeah, fair enough. I've really got nothing to say about Southampton apart from, are we going to see a reaction? What do you think? I mean, the way I sort of see it before I lead into that is they've had a rest in midweek. They swapped the team around. They've still got beat. Last week's team is going to come in now for this weekend, and I would imagine they wouldn't want to get humiliated again, which could easily happen here. Is Hasenhüttl the type of manager that said, right, we're going to play 5 across the back, 4 in the midfield, and we are just going to have no space for City to attack, or is he going to try and go for it? I can't see that, man. I feel like it's going to get beat again, big.
Well, he basically played 7 at the back last night, and they still lost 3-1. So,
but with the second string.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't all second string. There was still some first team players in there, but yes, I think they will 100% defend, and I think it won't be a 6-0 or anything. It's probably going to be like a 3-0, I guess. So
okay, you'll say 3-0. I'm going to say I reckon City will score 5. Okay. So we'll go with that. I actually do think after this week, despite him getting hauled off after 45 minutes and letting me down as the Cougar Cub picks, Danny Ings is still one to watch. He's still on my radar despite Southampton's poopy form. So they've got 3 home games in 4 after the City game. I mean, they're not going to sack Hasenhüttl before or after City. And having Everton, Watford and Norwich at home in the next 4 and away game against Arsenal, that seems like great time for them to bounce back. So if they're going to do it, I think Ings is going to be sort of their main goal scoring threat. I mean, he had 27 points in between game week 6 and 9. That's 6.7 points per game average. I mean, some of those goals were down to horrendous goalkeeper errors, but I mean, they've got to obviously start winning games. He's going to be the man leading the line. Yeah, he's one to watch for me.
Yeah, I also want to say De Bruyne, I'm not sure he's definitely a vice captain shout either, because obviously with Rodri out, he is playing deeper. And the goal or not goal that he had last week was maybe just like, a shot come across and he wasn't getting in those positions really. Yeah. So he didn't look like he was going to get any other returns that game. So I think returns are a little bit less coming for KDB, at least for the time being. So yeah, I'm not sure he's definitely a vice captain shout, possibly a Mane or Abraham instead for vice. And then David Silva didn't play last night. He looks to be nailed on at the Prem at the moment. His home form, despite the first home game where he didn't start, he's got 10, 11, 3 and 9. So yeah, he's looks consistent. And to be honest, I think he'll do well as well in this game. He's one I fear not owning too. I think he'll do well.
Yeah, no, I think I can agree with you on that one. Shall we move it on to a really exciting game, Kieran? Sheffield United against Burnley. I'm excited for this one because I've doubled up on the Sheffield United defence, so that means they're going to concede more than 2 goals. I think they've not conceded more than 1 for like 58 league games or something like that at home. I think that's some crazy stat I read the other day. I'm not sure if it's right, but anyway, bear with me. Let's just pretend it is for this game. And Burnley failed to win their last 7, but they keep picking up odd goals. Thought they looked quite blunt, actually, without Chris Wood against Chelsea until sort of late on that worldie from Rodriguez.
Where was Chris Wood? Because I didn't know.
I think he had
Is he injured?
Picked up an injury, so he didn't play. And I thought but before that, they just didn't look like they had much. They had chances, but they just didn't look like they had that real sort of killer instinct. I think Barnsley missed I'm talking like Sean Dyche now, just putting a Y on the end of everyone's name. Popey, Barnsley, Nielsley. He missed a good chance. So I just feel like they're quite blunt, and we know Sheffield United like to sit in. So yeah,
are you playing both?
I am going to play both of them. Yeah,
I'm fairly confident of a clean sheet here. Because Burnley do look like they're lacking without Wood, and Sheffield United is so strong at the back that I do think it's a clean sheet. And hopefully Lundstrom can get a sort of attacking return as well, because I think he was unlucky not to score versus West Ham, or at least assist, because he had that shot blocked off the line. Yeah. I think his stats are definitely lessened. He's not on the list of the first 20 players for XA, XG, key passes, or any of that. But he is 5th of defenders for shots with 5 over the last 4 weeks. So that means he's getting a few shots in, and he's if he's doing that, then he's got the chance to score. And obviously, he's started at 4.0, and in a solid defensive team, that's gold dust, as we all know, because everyone's on him now. So, if you're not playing him this weekend, tell me why. You should be.
Yeah, and he's had another price rise kick. He's up to 4.7, I think now. And 0.7 price rise is crazy. So both these teams actually in the bottom 8 for XG in the last 4 games. Sheffield United's just slightly worse, and only 4 teams worse than Burnley for expected goals in away games this season. So I do think it's going to be a pretty low scoring game. I could even see the 0-0 here, which would be delightful.
Yeah, you could get 3 times clean sheets in this game.
I have think talking of clean sheets, obviously mentioning Pope is my Burnley cover here. I think he's been quite poor in the last 4 game weeks. He's scored 1 point in 3 of those. I'm not thinking of selling, but when you see Matty Ryan picking up bonus points for all these passes and Potter's way forward, you sort of are relying on Burnley to concede a lot of shots, but Pope make a lot of saves for these bonus. And he's only had 2 this season. Ryan's had 4 times that with 8, joint top with Foster. So yeah, you can see over the course of a season those point sort of gaps widening. So I need a little bit more from Pope over these next sort of coming game weeks really.
Yeah, you'll probably get it this game. You'll get a 6 at least, I would guess. Well, maybe not at least, but probably a 0-0 happening. Or maybe a 5-5.
Oh, I don't want a 5-5. I want a 0-0. All right, McNeil I just wanted to touch on recently because he's shown a little bit of form. 3 attacking returns in his last 5. He is another Kieran. Kieran, I'm just so excited by these 6 million price 5th midfielders. Can you hear it in my voice? Good. Well, anyway, he's 6 million. Burnley's next 3 fixtures are a fairly sort of, I'd say, maybe even the next 4, are fairly decent. They're teams they should expect to sort of be scrapping with in Sheffield United, West Ham, Watford, and Palace. So, yeah, McNeil may be good for some more attacking returns if you fancy a 0.5% owned differential. There you go. Get anything more on my favourite new team from Sheffield?
No,
nothing more.
No.
Okay, we'll move on to a team who I've even got less on is Newcastle. But Lascelles has obviously scored a goal, Kieran, so we've got to take note of that. He scored 10 points last game week. Their fixtures are actually quite good. I think it's... let me just find it out here. They only played 2 top 6 sides until game week 22. So that's City at home and United away. So, I mean, that's like another 11 game weeks. So a 4.4 Lascelles, sorry, for someone who is... I said that last season, didn't I? And everyone called me out on it.
You did,
Lascelles. A 4.4 million Lascelles who is going to play every week he's not injured because he's the club captain. He could happily sit on your bench over Christmas and be called upon when Salah misses out because he wants to have a big turkey on Boxing Day. I just feel like Lascelles could be an option, Kieran. What do you reckon? He was close for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. That was someone I was looking at as instead of Tierney for this move I'm looking at. So, 100% like him, but I don't. He's not going to score very often. I think that is his 1 per season sort of header. Maybe he gets another one. He can be kind of streaky when he gets his attacking returns, but you're never looking at an assist with him. It's just a header from a corner is basically it. But yeah, they defend well at home, don't they? We know that. And yeah, against no top 6 sides or 2 of them in the next. Did you say 20?
Yeah, 11 I think
22?
it is. Yeah, until 22.
That's great.
Yeah, it's really good.
Tempting.
I was actually having a look at their defensive stats just to sort of inform my choice when I was deciding on O'Connell and Lascelles. In the end, I've gone for O'Connell just because I reckon he's going to have a slightly more attacking threat from open play. Seems a bit more dangerous there. But Newcastle have conceded 2.4 big chances on average per game, which you'd expect because it's a fairly high number for a team who are close to the bottom of the league. But that is actually the same as defensive favourites, Sheffield United. So they are on the sort of under the surface of sort of things, not doing too bad defensively, and I think they're probably not a bad option for Lascelles to be picked in your team. Anything? Oh, I've caught you when you're taking a drink there. It's all right. Yep. I was going to say they've not conceded more than 1 goal in a game, apart from the 2 where they got pumped at Leicester, and I think it was the game against Liverpool. So yeah, they've been good. You got much on West Ham, Kieran?
Obviously, Haller last week completely disappeared. He had 0 shots, 0 big chances, an XG of 0.02. 2 key passes, no big chances created, and an XA of 0.09. So he completely disappeared. And I just think Haller generally over the last 4 weeks has gone missing.
Yeah.
All of their attacking players, other than Yarmolenko, who seems to be ticking along nicely. Other than that, the rest of them are all looking terrible. The next, their fixtures are okay. Like Newcastle at home is okay. Burnley away is okay. Tottenham, then it gets tough really. Tottenham at home is tough. Chelsea away is obviously bad. Wolves away is tough, and then Arsenal at home is tough.
Yeah.
So, the next 2, if you still have, then maybe keep them, but I wouldn't expect too much. I think probably just move on at this point.
Yeah, I feel like they've been stuttering a little bit recently. Like they had a good thing going. They've got like a good squad, but I think it's these last 2 games. Obviously, lost against Everton, who were woefully out of form, and only drawn at home against Sheffield United. But yeah, I thought they've surprised me a little bit. And like you say, Haller just seems to have totally gone off the boil. Like you say, disappeared. He's been out in the Bermuda Triangle. All right, teams that aren't out in the Bermuda Triangle, Chelsea, they're firing on all cylinders. They got Watford away, or they're away at Watford up next. They've got some good fixtures still. They've got Watford, Palace. Then it's that crunch tie with City before they've got back-to-back home games against West Ham and Villa. So the fixtures are great for them. I suppose the question on my lips, Kieran, and everyone else's lips are, what are you going to do about Callum Hudson-Odoi? We had a question in from Clacko saying, who would you rather? I mean, it was almost, I thought it was going to be a bit sexy, but it wasn't. It was about Mason Mount or Callum Hudson-Odoi. I mean, I feel like now that Pulisic is back in the squad, or back with the squad after Lampard said he'd been given that Gold Cup sort of recovery weeks, or extra weeks to recover, he's now back in Lampard's thinking. He seems to be posing a threat to Callum. What are you going to do with him, Kieran? That's my question.
Like I said, in the transfers, I'm thinking of him possibly out. Like I said, again, that I think the triple up on Chelsea is a luxury that I don't necessarily need. Pulisic's coming back is also an issue. So yeah, Mount seems to be favoured. He was rested tonight, so Mount should play at the weekend and all the Premiership games and Champions League. So I think Mount is obviously Lampard's boy. So yeah, I think Cho is definitely a rotation risk. I think he'll play. He will still be value. I think if you want to go for him, he will still be good, but just be prepared for the odd rotation game. But Mount is nailed on. Good stats, good goals, good assists. Takes set pieces. So I prefer Mount. And yeah, I'm certainly looking at Cho out to someone cheaper to just enable Vardy and whoever else, basically.
Yeah, no, I like it. So talking about Mount a little bit more, he'd be my favourite as well. I mean, like you say, he's been rested tonight, shows how much Lampard values him, and the fact that Pulisic and Callum Hudson-Odoi are playing shows that, yeah, he's got more faith in Mount for these Premier League games. I mean, he's got 4 goals, 2 assists so far this season. I actually checked back to see what he'd been doing in the Championship last season. So he registered 8 goals and 5 assists. So, I mean, he's basically halfway there after 10 game weeks. I'd imagine he's going to surpass his Championship statistics. So he's looking good. 37% ownership now. So he's no longer sort of like a sneaky differential. He's sort of passed both Mane and Salah for ownership. So, yeah, he's getting up towards Abraham, isn't he, on that 40-odd. What's Abraham on there? 45% maybe? I think he's the most owned player in the game.
I think it's just, again, time will tell with them. Like if Mount starts to be rotated or not, if he's playing further back, then or he's part of the midfield 3, then you can start looking at Cho as just someone instead. But yeah, maybe even Pulisic, that sort of same price area, and then Willian as well, who's also doing well. So there's options in that team for sure. So it's not even just between those two. It's there's Willian, who's obviously a big differential. Yeah. There's Pulisic, who's a big differential. So why not? Yeah,
Pulisic did look good against Burnley. So he had 3 key passes, 5 shots. Obviously picked up that perfect hat-trick. And he's had 4 attacking returns in the last 3. So it's just a shame his price came in at 7.5. So despite all his drops, he's still 7.1. So he is quite a pricey pick. I think it's Mount up to 6.8 now, or 6.7. So he's only a touch on more than Mount. But when you've got that sort of uncertainty of starts, then it's always a bit of a risk, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to see who's doing well tonight and who's come off. I think whoever comes off first out of those 2 probably starts the weekend. But yeah, United have just conceded Batshuayi goal. Doesn't say who the assist is.
Okay.
So, yeah, not sure, but it's probably Joe. Let's be honest. And it's just going to make it even harder. But Rashford scored, so it's 1-1 in that game. So that's I don't know if it was a good goal. Oh no, it was a penalty. So yeah, there we know.
He's back on penalties.
We know that Rashford's on penalty. So yeah, tempted by Rashford again now. But yeah, let's move on.
Okay, Watford, have we got anything to say on them? We usually don't because they've been so poor this season, but yeah, their fixtures are still a bit meh.
I mean, yeah, randomly their last 4 weeks, their expected goals conceded is 3.7, is a fourth.
Okay.
And they've only conceded 3, and that's only behind Liverpool, Chelsea and Burnley, which is obviously they've had good fixtures, and they've kept, is it 3 clean sheets in a row or something? So yeah, I suppose you can see why it's low, but you wouldn't expect it for a team who's down bottom. They haven't won all season. They've only scored 1 goal in one game this season. Sorry, wait, no. Only scored more than 1 goal in 1 game this season, which is
I was going to say that. I reckon that's the Arsenal game.
And then only scored 1 goal since week 5. So their XG is terrible.
Wow.
But their XG defensively, they look okay. I mean, Delafeu kind of passed the eye test.
No, we can't mention Delafeu, Kieran.
I'm not saying get him, but he did sort of pass the eye test, and he will provide value for later on. I say it all the time. He will provide value at some point in the season.
What about Yanmat? 4.3 million Watford defender.
Nah, he's too much of a rotation risk for me.
Okay.
I think Kiko is still an option there, and so yeah, I'm not going near Yanmat or their defender.
All right, dismissed totally. I can get on board with that.
Sorry.
That's all right. Palace against Leicester. Right then, I've got quite a lot to say on Leicester because I'm a new adopter of the Vardy. I don't want to say the word begins with P and ends in Y because it's too easy.
Yeah, of course you do.
Let's just call it the Vardy pump. That's totally safe. Anyway, so he's had 350k transfers in so far. Now then, I wanted to do some comparisons, so I did. Okay, so listen up to these, all right? So in game week 10, he had 5 shots, 4 in the box, 3 big chances, and an XG of 1.84. So how that compares on average to his stats from game weeks 1 to 9, right, per 90 minutes. So he usually has 1.6 shots. So basically, he's about 4 times better against Southampton. He has 1.4 shots in the box. So again, he was about 4 times better against Southampton. 3 big chances. Again, guess what, Kieran? Well, not quite 4, but 3 times better than he had. 3 times better against Southampton, and an XG usually per 90 minutes of 0.38. So yeah, that was way up. So Southampton looks like it was obviously it was a huge fluke because, well, not fluke, but let's say a rare occurrence because you're not going to win 9-0 every century, but yeah, it seems like a big jump up in this one game. So although he scored a hat-trick and he got huge points and he's been doing well this season, I do sort of own him with a little bit of caution. He is not going to return every game week, and there are going to be game weeks go by where he blanks a couple ones in a row. I think he's blanked back-to-back twice already so far this season. So yeah, I think 4 out of the 10 game weeks he has blanked, and then he's also picked up 3 double-digit hauls. So he's a bit Jekyll and Hyde with his point return. So if you hit those captaincies, you're going to hit some sweet points. So just if you're a new Vardy adopter like me, we're just going to have to ride it out and prepare for some blanks.
Does it worry that their sort of big victories have been against teams that have had a player sent off? That's the only sort of way that they really unlocked the door so much. The 5-0 against Newcastle with a player sent off, against Southampton with everyone down tools, player sent off. I mean, I don't know. What are their other sort of wins like?
They've had a
3-1 against.
I was going to say that's the one that stands out for me because he got 2 in that game.
That's really it, isn't it? But there's 2-1 wins, there's 2-1 losses, and so there isn't that many that they've hauled in other games. But I suppose that is normal. For just the Premier League, but.
The thing is with Vardy, we know.
Hopefully Zaha gets sent off first minute, and then it's a 9-0 on the cards again.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just going to be one of those things that he is going to score upwards of, let's say, 20 to 25 goals because he got around that total last season. The fixtures over the next 5 aren't bad. I mean, the Arsenal, Everton, and Watford home games in generally Everton's away defensive record is awful. Arsenal's away defensive record is pretty poor too, and Watford, I mean, they're just going to get spanked because they're bottom of the league. I think the trickiest games are the Palace and Brighton away games because they can prove quite tricky defences, but you'd still back Vardy. I mean, he scored in that tricky away game against Sheffield United, I think, earlier in the season, so he can find a way. I also want to do some quick comparisons. Do you want to add anything else on Vardy? Sorry.
I don't think he's had any penalties either yet, so
No.
that's something to add to his locker as well. So, and he's pretty good at penalties, so yeah, there's that as well.
I think it's going to be Harvey Barnes is the type of player that's going to win them penalties. Just those little tricky runs into the box, so he could have good potential for assists there. Chilwell's the other one I wanted to put into perspective a little bit, just because it's always nice just to have a little look, isn't it, at things. So he had a 19-point return, obviously a huge game. 6 key passes, 1 big chance, and 1 big chance created. To put that into perspective, in the first game week 1 to game week 9, he only had 5 key passes in 9 games. That was 1 less than he managed in the 90 minutes against Southampton. He had 0 big chances and 0 chances created. So the fact that it took him he's not even matched what he did in game week 10 in the previous 9 game weeks, makes me think that he is definitely not going to sustain anything like what he did. I mean, he may chip in with an assist every 10 game weeks from now, and that's what the stats have shown so far. But 19-point haul. I think he's obviously got a lot of transfers in. I think he's nearly got 175k in this week, and he's due a double rise, and he's probably a bit underpriced at 5.5 considering Pereira's 6. But man, I just don't see the attacking returns from Leicester there and from him.
Yeah. I think he's an anomaly that game. You can't look into him thinking he's going to do that every week. So yeah, I think there's better value in that team still. Is Sionku.
Yeah.
Obviously the cheap player in that defense is pretty much only for clean sheets, and you just rotate him sometimes. And then obviously still Pereira is still looking better attacking wise. So yeah, I'm not sure Chilwell for me.
No, I can agree. I also want to pick your brains on Maddison, really, because they won 9-0, but a lot of owners, to me, on Twitter especially, just seemed disappointed he didn't return more and from open play. So he had 0 big chances created, and expected assists, which should be his bread and butter, 0.06, an XG of 0.18, and 0 key passes. I mean, that just pretty poor numbers across the board in a 9-0 win. I mean, you don't really expect to be questioning people like, are they worried owning Maddison? But I don't know, you'd expect more, wouldn't you?
If I was watching that game and I owned Maddison, I'd be pissed off, honestly.
Yeah, I know you would be.
Yeah, it's just that would just be so annoying that he only gets 1 return, and he's supposed to be the main guy for assisting everyone, and he's just that. Yeah, that would annoy me. Yeah. Tielemans looks like he's properly on fire at the moment. Did he get a goal and assist in that game?
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
And then he's got a goal and assist in the cup as well, so he looks on fire. He's possibly better than Maddison at the moment, just because I think he's probably going to get more returns. And when a player's on fire, you need to probably get on it, and he's cheaper. And obviously Perez, hat-trick, difficult to own because he's a bit of a troll, but cheap. How much did he go down by? It was quite a lot. I
think he's 6-1 now. We actually had a question in from Mark MB Bison on I think that's how you pronounce it, or M Bison 22 on Twitter, who said, "Is Perez or can Perez cover Vardy?" Now, I mean, I've always never really been a fan of coverage, but you get what you pay for, really, with Perez. He's not going to play 90 minutes. He's going to flit in and out. To be honest, I'd rather have Harvey Barnes, slightly less expensive, and his returns have just been as consistent. I think he's had 5 attacking returns in his last 4. He's 0.69, so he's a huge differential. But I think Harvey Barnes, Tielemans, and even Maddison would all be above Perez in my thinking. Would he be for you?
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we all thought Perez would cover Vardy at the start, or maybe not even cover, but just be the guy that he's turned into now. Yeah. But I think it's an anomaly. Before that, he was only kind of getting assists every other game or something. So, don't look into him so much. I think it's Vardy we've got to take away, because Vardy's been returning pretty much the whole season. So, those are the players we need to look at rather than Perez's who get stat pad in strange games.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Anything to talk about on the Palace side? Obviously, Is Zaha going to play this weekend after being rugby tackled by Guendouzi? Probably.
Yeah. I just got Zaha down here saying, he hasn't scored the whole season. Jordan Ayew has got 4 goals and Zaha has 0. So, yeah, sort your crap out, Zaha.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Anything on Milivojevic? I mean, he's back on pens again, scoring some pens from dodgy decisions and some not so dodgy decisions.
Yeah, so they do seem to be winning more pens at the moment, and obviously that's Millie's bread and butter, as you say. He's had 10. Whenever he gets a penalty, he'll score it. He gets max bonus as well, 10 points the haul basically. But it's feast or famine with him. He's got 10 point haul in 2 game weeks, and the rest have just been 2s, 1s, 0s, etc. So, I wouldn't say go there unless they're getting penalties all the time. But maybe when their fixtures clear up. But he is a bit too expensive, to be honest. Yeah,
no, fair enough. Should we move on to our last thing? I should also just say as well, now that we've just obviously recording this live as the football's going on, Rashford's just scored his 2nd goal, Kieran. Whoa! So he's really bigging up his chances of being included in your team.
You like to see it. And that Liverpool-Arsenal game, 5-5, went to penalties.
I think Liverpool have just won it as well on penalties, 10-9.
That'll be annoying for Klopp, because I think he probably wanted to go out, didn't he?
Focus on the league. But now he's played a real second string side. Someone called Curtis Jones has just scored the winning penalty. So, yeah. Fair play. Yeah, exactly. Fair play to Liverpool. United will really get treated to, or Chelsea will get treated to an away game at Anfield in the quarterfinal.
Sounds fun.
It does sound fun. Villa won as well tonight.
Beating Wolves. And Wolves are very second string as well. Yeah. But yeah, there's another loss for them.
Yeah, nothing really of FPL note in that one. So the last game of the weekend, the 4:00 Super Sunday game, is between Everton and Spurs. This was a cracker last season. I think it was 6-2.
Yeah.
I mean, I finally got rid of Luca Dean. I mean, it's so irritating. I mean, we talked on the show last week about how I was going to transfer him to Robertson. Nearly did. In the end, just did Zinchenko to Rico. And the fact that he ended on -1 was so irritating. Like, it's just like one just final kick in the balls from him as I transfer him, just before I transfer him out. And
the merry-go-round roller coaster of Digne.
God.
You gotta love it. He'll get a 15-point return this
Probably
week.
Will be. I really want, before I saw the fact his price was going to go down and Vardy's was going to shoot up, and I thought I'm just going to cut my losses with Dean here. I was like, I'm going to keep him just because I want to watch the chaos unfold live on Sunday.
But you were so unlucky though. He was so unlucky not to get that assist. That was just taken off Richie's head, wasn't it? So if he got you 4 points in that would you still have sold? I don't know.
Probably not, no. Because I did quite like him for this Tottenham game because they play better against the big sides at home. So, yeah. Anyway, he's gone. I think Mino's gone out for Everton now as well because I think he picked up an injury in the League Cup game.
I did have it written down here, but he was injured the game before. I think he didn't play, and then he obviously came back for the Cup, and then he got injured again, didn't he? So, but yeah, I mean, Everton player-wise in general, like Tottenham at home is tough. Obviously, Southampton away is there. They got 2 decent ones, and then after that, they've got 5 top 6 in a row. Yeah. It's just that run of fixtures is absolutely awful. But at the same time, they had that sort of thing last year at the end of the year, and they kept loads of clean sheets, and everyone sold Digne and everything like that. And he returned loads of points, and I owned Digne at that point, and I was super happy about that. Obviously, so. They could do that again. Probably not, but there is that chance that if you keep Digne, he could still bring points in.
Yeah, I like it. I was going to say they have a game in Game Week 12 against Southampton away. Now, bearing in mind Richarlison's form, he could be a really good 2-week punt if you are like someone like you who's like mixing between City attackers at the moment and don't fancy them in that away game against Liverpool. I mean, the fact that they play Southampton and Norwich back-to-back, 2 of the worst sort of like defences and least informed teams in the league. What about the Richarlison punt there?
That's the sort of fixtures I got Wilson in for and he trolled, so nah.
Okay. Well, I know who I'm picking for the Cougar Cubs those 2 weeks.
Sure, fair enough.
All right, any more to add on Everton, or should we chat about Spurs a little bit?
No, go on.
All right. I didn't really want to say much about Spurs because I just thought I don't know, I just can't trust them. But anyway, Suns look lively against Poole. he's not been so hot over the last 4, so 4.3 points per 90 minutes, 2 assists in that time. He's actually only scored 2 goals in 10 games this season, and they were both in that game against Palace. So considering those home fixtures they've had, I was expecting quite a lot more. So I think if I was going to do like a mini quarter season review, I'd say Son has been really underwhelming. Considering his price and the fact that he's actually gone up. I think he's on 9.7 now, so people have been buying him. But yeah, it could be. I really can't predict this game. And Spurs have some good fixtures after this as well. Sheffield United, West Ham, Bournemouth, Man United away. I mean, all teams where you'd expect them to score at least. I'd say our goal, and the fact they scored at Anfield, but I just don't have the confidence to bring Son or Kane into my team. I don't know how you feel about those two.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be low scoring actually. And yeah, can't trust Spurs at the moment, like we said last week. So yeah, and maybe they're turning the corner though. They looked okay against Liverpool, but yeah, not sure to be honest. No.
It's hard to see. I mean, somehow Kane as well secured bonus in that one, so that is like a big gripe of mine. The fact that he basically had, I think it was 1 shot on goal, 1 on target. He obviously scored, and just because he didn't have many shots off target, he was able to pick up bonus in that game. It's gross. I
think Gazaniga is also someone to look at 4.4. He's probably going to rise after that. What was it, 9 points?
It was a big one,
In a they lost 2-1, right? And he got 12 saves, which is a Premier League record. So yeah, obviously not sustainable every week, but yeah, while Lloris is out and a supposed top 6 side, I think he's definitely value. So yeah, if you need a keeper.
Yeah, Kane's. I mean, moving away from keeper to this front line again, Kane's down to 10-8 now. They do actually only have one traditional top 6 side, which is United in the next 7, so they're not too bad. Kane did score there last year, but I think their fullbacks worry me, man. I mean, Aurier and Rose were just atrocious against Liverpool, and their defence is not giving me anything this season. So
needs to start playing Davies again. I think he's fit, so why is Davies not getting a chance? Really?
No idea. Right, that about wraps up our preview, doesn't it? We're not good on time again, Kieran, which is because we like talking about Fantasy Premier League.
Right, captains.
Oh gosh, I think it's going to be definitely Sterling for me, and I'm going to keep vice captaincy on Mane because I kind of fancy him if he doesn't play as well.
Yeah, I think so too. Aguero for me. I think Mane will go vice captain too. And then transfers possibly, like I said, Wilson to Vardy, and then maybe Tierney or maybe Cho. Not sure, not decided. And then Sterling / Salah in for a hit next week is possible. Yeah,
I think it looks like Cho's playing the full 90 tonight as well, so that's something to consider. Pulisic's come off. So I've already made my transfers, haven't I? O'Connell and Vardy have come in. Clean sheets. Okay.
Man City, I think, will just sneak one. Man United possibly, and then Sheffield United.
I'm going to go out of my way and say Everton are going to get a clean sheet, and Dean's going to just stick his middle finger up to me for one last time.
Yeah, fair enough.
Cougar Cub picks, Kieran. This is exciting because I have not really thought of many two people. So you better go first while I have a little think.
Okay, so I'm going to go for David Silva.
Okay.
At 12.8%. Southampton at home. Should be a 3-4-0 something. So yeah, David Silva.
Okay.
And I'll save my backup afterwards.
All right, I'm going to say it was a bit of I was saying a bit of a tough choice. I've only just really thought about it, but I'm going to say Mapai for Brighton against that Norwich back line. I feel like he's got a bit of confidence now. He's on pens. I could see him getting a back-to-back, goal if you like in this one.
Sure.
Who's your backup?
Yeah, my backup is Tielemans at 6.4%.
Tielemans, nice. Okay.
Crystal Palace away. Obviously it's tough historical fixture, but I think he can do something. Right?
Yeah, all right. Who am I going to say is my backup? Oh, tough one. I'll tell you what. I'll go for Baldock, because he was the other Sheffield United defender I was thinking about bringing in, and he like O'Connell has got a bit of goal threat, and Burnley looked like they could be a clean sheet anyway. So yeah, that'll do. All right, that was good. I feel like we really wrapped it up very quickly at the end there, but I think that was overall it's been a good show, hasn't it, Kieran? Should we rate this show? 10 out of 10. That is a good rating. All right. Thanks everyone for sticking with us. We'll be back next week with our Game Week 12 preview, and Kieran and I will both try and be inside the top 500,000 by then. Very unlikely, but let's see. All right. Have a great game week, everyone. It's goodbye from me.
Cheers. Good luck.
Bye.